start with Andy and Hibbo, because you organised all this. Ocean Cruisers podcast, which is something, well, you've interviewed all of us, have you, I think, with your podcast?
I have.
You're available on all sorts of different platforms, podcasts, and YouTube as well, because we do it in Vision, which came as a shock to Judy, actually, when we did that.
I did. We got interviewed, and I thought that was for a podcast, i.e. radio. So I was like getting up and making tea and just wandering around. And, no, I wasn't on camera.
I was thinking when you were doing that, I was like, she knows this is going on the internet.
That's nice. You were comfortable.
It's very homely.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's good, and you've got some good ones coming up. I know Limpardy, is one that's not
Yes.
out yet, is it?
That will be in a few weeks, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So there's some good stuff there. So you've done lots of things. So you should check out your channel. Talking of Limpardy, I'm going to go over to Rigging Doctor Herbie and Maddie, because that's sort of, I know, something that you're really interested in. That style of sailing.
Well, they inspired us a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of their kind of methods we've utilized in a lot of our sailing philosophies and stuff. Especially for Herbie, he read all of their books almost.
Yeah. So the big thing, like being how they were engineless, and with an electric with a tiny battery bank, we're practically engineless. So what works for them works for us.
Yeah. So I know it's not, you do quite a lot of things differently, don't you? So we're going to talk about that on your boats, and actually for the purposes, I think, of this, I'm going to make you honorary Brits, if that's okay, because the British have this sort of odd thing with eccentricity, is that we celebrate eccentricity, and we're going to talk about some of the things you do, like Dyneema rigging, which I think is really cool, but does mean you have to have slab reef sails, which for cruising is tough going, isn't it?
Slab reef head sails.
Yeah, and also you have an electric motor, which pretty much means you've got no motor at all most of the time in somewhere like the Med, when it goes to that.
Yeah,
and that's how you sail. So eccentric is the word we need to use, not batshit crazy when we're talking about
I mean, they're interchangeable, really.
No, you're Brits for this one, so you are just eccentric. Talking about eccentricity, let's go to Alex and Mandy then. Now, we watch you, most of all. I think with YouTube, you guys, because you've been to Europe, I think there's something with the algorithm that sort of throws you up. And I suppose we search things, people that have been to the same sort of places or going to the same sort of places that we've been. So we've seen quite a lot of your videos. And I think the thing that sort of sticks out for you two is the dichotomy of you two. There's a big dichotomy there.
You have to explain to me what dichotomy is.
It's a British ploy, you see, that we make everyone else speak English because we're too lazy to learn another language, and then we throw in an obscure word just to get it. Dichotomy. Well, in your case, it's that difference, that opposite thing. So we've got Mandy, who's Dutch and gorgeous, which sort of comes with the territory.
I know what's next.
Then we've got Alex, who's German and funny.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So that for us,
Good save.
I think it makes a really good video. Your video. So people should watch you. Josh, I'm gonna come to you. You haven't got Stephanie with you today.
Unfortunately, yeah.
No. But you do all sorts of different things, don't you? You don't stick to just sailing. You're out doing all sorts.
Yeah, a little combo of different things, because I started out not necessarily doing sailing, and then I just kind of started doing more and more sailing. That's what became more popular, so I kind of focused on that.
Yeah.
But still now I'm kind of doing little things, travel or motorcycle adventure or random things like that.
Yeah. So we can see. I've seen some of yours. I hadn't seen it beforehand. It just hadn't cropped up on mine, but I've watched it since. It's really cool, and that's the thing. We want you to give us some tips here, because you're not as young as some. You're not old gits like us, but you're
in between.
but you're cool, aren't you? It's your videos are just you've got, I don't know what it is. Is it the American thing that you
got grey skin? That helps.
But you can start a video with what's up YouTube. I think if we did that, then our viewers would just laugh, and our children would phone us up and say what the hell's going on. We just couldn't carry that off. I think that's it's an American cool thing. So I think it's great. And you've got a proper boat, haven't you now?
Yes, Newport Beach, California. So it's mostly fixing the boat mostly. So,
yeah.
Not as much crew. I'm like along with Andy and Hibba, I'm the only other person that doesn't live on their boat full time and not cruising full time.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of working in the harbor as like, full time.
Yeah.
And trying to do more sailing.
But I want to sort of show my bias for what I would call a proper boat, because you've got a Choi Lee, haven't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which
a lot of
is-
woodwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking at your all's boat today, I mean, it's not even on the same category as the woodworking, but there's a ton of woodworking. For
Yeah.
sure. Bright work
But
everywhere.
it's heavy displacement, long keel. It's
Right.
It's that sort of
Full keel, yeah.
way of cruising.
Similar.
So yeah, I want to sort of talk to you a little bit about that and the difference between different boats and how that sort of, that sort of works really for everyone. Well, we're talking about cool. We've got to get, last but not least, Bums on the Boat, who I have to admit we hadn't seen much of either, but we've caught up with you since, and I've done lots of research. I mean lots of research on you guys, and I've got some pictures from your friends and your families. My iPad's just going all over the place now.
You
so
got a hold of our friends.
So, absolutely. We're journalists. I mean, that's sort of what we do. Hold on, I've got to
Talk to them as agents.
find the pictures again, because I've just dropped the iPad and they've gone. So, what I want to talk about with you guys, because we're talking about how cool different channels are, and I think you should be on paper you're definitely the coolest of the bunch of cool
Wow.
dudes
Very cool.
that are here. But
phenomenal.
But I want to have a little discussion, and don't give this away, because I want to talk about is how you guys met. So if you know about this, don't give away to the rest of it, because I've got some pictures about how you guys met. Because I think there's a lot of times when cool couples got a cool story about how they met somewhere. It's got to be really cool. I mean, we, for instance, our gets, we don't even remember where we
We're
met.
very uncool.
Yeah.
Yep.
We met sometime in the mid-80s in an edit suite, we think.
Oh wow.
We don't
Wow.
really know.
It was that.
You don't have like a
unbelievable-
moment.
No.
No.
Wow.
So we're about as uncool as it can get. So what about the rest of you? Got any stories of...
This is bad.
It's very bad.
Can I lie?
But your story.
No, you
I
can't
can't
Now you
lie.
have to share.
You're on deck.
Oh no. Well, I hired her.
Well, let's just say he was my boss for a
yeah,
while.
I was a boss.
Okay.
Not my
then-
direct manager, but he did interview me for a job, and
Yeah, right, okay. Well, right.
It's inappropriate.
Already. So let's get going, Josh.
What? How I met Stephanie?
Yeah, was there a cool story there?
Not really that cool. It was actually an online dating story,
Okay.
like so
Well,
many
that's
nowadays.
sort of in there,
Yeah.
so, okay.
So-
Which
I'm guessing-
website?
Match.com.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing with you two, it was something geeky in a to do with computers and work.
Oh,
wasn't it?
no.
Not at all. No, actually, no. My
Ooh.
one of my good friends. Well, in Europe we have this thing called Erasmus. You might know it.
Yeah, the
Like,
Erasmus.
students go to
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
countries to study for half a year abroad. And my friend went to Berlin, and he was her roommate. And she said, "I have this really cool guy I'm living with. Maybe you like him." So
Yeah.
I went over there and. I gave him some scope apples, which is like a typical Dutch cookie. And
Okay.
she said he would like it. He actually did not like it. So
No, it was a ploy.
yeah, what kind of.
Yeah.
And we met for like 2 days max, and then I went back. And then we both went on vacation a lot, and then our first date was a week in Porto.
Okay, well that's quite cool. Okay, well you've got some competition now, so we're gonna have to decide what's going to be there.
We met on Tinder.
Yeah, she was hot, so I
Oh,
swiped
really?
right.
Yeah. We literally like.
you really?
Yeah, we set up a date, because we both thought we were attractive, and we went and got sushi, and then the next day he asked me to move into the boat with him.
Okay.
Yeah, like I met her and I
The
was
next
like,
day?
found her-
Yeah,
yeah.
literally the next day.
That is
Yeah.
incredible.
And they lived happily ever after.
And I said,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
then she
that's-
moved in, and that was 7 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, well you've
It's
got
a
a couple of
success
cool
story.
ones there to compete with, but actually, I mean, I know that Andy was lying, because it's quite obvious that what he did was go to the Middle East and just kidnap the most beautiful woman. because there is no other.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's what you've got to beat, the Middle East kidnapping.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting that you say that, because I was just telling Alex, I mean, for like the first 2 days, I was struggling to feel like we belonged here, because everyone is truly amazing in this boat right now, including you guys. It's the truth. I struggled. I was self-conscious for
You're
the
talking
first
yourself
2
out
days.
of being the coolest here.
I'm just
It's a
saying,
competition.
but
You've gotta
I
go for
did
this.
figure out where our value is, and now I do see that we are
Okay.
pretty cool. Because we're here for
Good.
after seeing all of the
After getting
others.
to know us.
Yeah, we are.
We can hang with these guys. We
Like,
can hang
you know,
with these guys. You just got to figure out what you're good at.
Okay. Well, I got a couple of different responses from how you met from your friends, and so they can't all be true.
How did you do
But one of them, I've got pictures, so I'll pass this round. This is the first one that said that you actually, if you pass that around, that you met while you were surfing in Hawaii, and we have a picture here. So we've got to pass it around to the
This is amazing.
just to see if you
This
think
is
that is
fantastic.
cooler.
Wow.
If you think this is cooler than Middle East kidnapping.
Oh my
Do you know
god.
the picture yourself? That is.
You know,
There
I
is-
remember taking this picture. I do. And it was a good time in my life. I was really about fitness.
Protein shakes
Yes, well,
daily.
And waxing my body.
We'll take a vote on it, but I don't think that beats the Middle East kidnapping, to be honest.
Not even close.
If that one was
Not
true.
even close.
I don't think it is, but there's a chance that that one wasn't true.
Now, is
because-
it up to them to guess what's true? Are you going to leave this to the viewers? Or
No, we will say. at the
Oh,
end.
you're going to tell them.
Because
okay.
the second one that I found, which going by the picture, I think
That is sensational.
is pretty
I'm
good. I mean,
so-
this
I'm
is
so envious.
someone
That
said
is
this is family.
fantastic.
They said that you met rock climbing in the Andes. I'm not really into rock climbing, but I think you'd have to agree that this picture's quite cool.
There you go.
I haven't. It's been a while, you know. We do a lot of stuff, so I
It's been a few years.
I can't figure out what picture I'm gonna look at. I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
I'm guessing it's
Michael.
the one where I'm hanging off
Michael.
a cliff. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, this one was great. This is a great time in our lives. Yeah. Wow.
Back when I had my own fitness
Those
kick.
great memories for sure.
So if it's that, I think what's the verdict? Do we think that's
Very
the
cool, very
coolest
cool.
if that one's true?
I'm curious for the third.
I'm waiting up. I'm waiting
I'm
up.
not gonna give it away here, right? I don't want to give it away. I obviously know
Don't
the
give it
answer
away.
to this question.
So the next one.
It might be 4, Herbie, actually.
The next
I
one
think
I-
we've broken the rule of 3 on this
The
one.
next
if
one
that's
was a
okay.
very good friend of yours that came through and said, no, that's because I'd already had these ones through. And I said, well, I've had these, 2 different things that have been told. What's true? And they said, no, they definitely met while nude hiking in Mongolia. They said, I mean, I haven't got a picture.
I'm
of
pretty
this,
sure
but-
that didn't get out.
I didn't.
There's
No, I didn't-
there's no way that there's pictures
No,
of that.
no, there's no way.
Yeah,
Well,
there's no way.
obviously there is because I've got one.
We got paparazzi now.
Joel, the fappening, you guys are part of the list.
It's a what?
The fappening.
The
You guys,
fappening.
when there was that leak, you guys are part of the list apparently.
It's happening, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it.
A torch, as you might say.
The thing is, we all wondered why you're called bums on a boat, and I think we now know.
Yeah.
The
There's
bu-
got-
yeah, we've got some bumps.
Oh yeah, that was a good
There's
time. Your body's
Michael.
changed a bit.
Yeah.
So this is back when you had the long hair.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I can't believe someone got a photo of this.
Clearly, you didn't know the photo was being taken.
I know. I mean, I don't know how they got such a zoom in. I mean, this must have been a high zoom camera lens.
Well, it looks like you caught you unawares there, coming out of the fog. Just sort of jumped out of the fog and got you.
And how cold was it exactly?
Oh man, they didn't even blur Michael out. That's
Well, it makes sense to do
How do you
that
feel
because
about that?
walking through the
You're-
fog, your clothes will get all damp. So.
Did you know your nipples were out there?
At the time, it was just
Well,
part
you've done a
of the
very
adventure.
good job of trying to claim. I actually didn't think that you would claim any of these are true and say that's not me. I thought you would do it, but you've done. But I
That's
have to
how
break
you
it to
shopping.
everyone that none of those is true. Would you want to tell the people how you met?
Would you like
I
to
know
share
some
the
of them met.
romantic story?
How?
Yeah.
What were you doing when you met?
Do you want to turn off the generator before we tell the story?
Is the generator really on?
It is on there.
It's like vibrating. Yeah.
Should we turn off the generator? I think you guys, the viewers, might appreciate that. It'll take
Yeah.
me 3 seconds.
Yeah, do it.
We'll be back.
So how did you actually meet?
Well, we actually met working at the same golf course.
Yes, playing golf. So we've got to decide whether the golf story, because I don't. It might be different in America. In England, I mean, Andy, back me up here. I mean, it's not cool, really.
I
It's
committed a felony to get my woman. What
Yeah. But golf, we got to decide because we know the truth. They met playing golf, and we got to decide because it might be that in America, I mean, they've got Tiger Woods. It's pretty cool, isn't he? I mean, but Tiger Woods is
Tiger Woods is cool, but no one else is cool.
In England, I mean, we've got Nick Faldo. He's about as uncool as you can get. Golf is what middle-aged men do to get away from their families. And if they want it, for a Sunday afternoon.
Middle-aged men.
Right.
And the ones that want to get away for the whole weekend go fishing. So because that takes a bit long.
Exactly.
But it's not cool. So
it's totally not cool.
We've got to decide because I know you're different, and I do have a real picture of you on the links when you met.
Okay.
So could we decide?
I'm like very skeptical.
I think they've got to decide whether this is cool because I don't know, it could be cool. What do you reckon?
That's amazing.
I like that one.
I like that one. That's so cool.
Okay, he both thinks it's cool. That's good.
Is it real? It's not real.
I
have plenty of pictures of us.
Oh no, that has to be real.
That actually,
Oh
the
my
matching
God.
socks.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Oh, my favorite is
yes.
the grass shoe
Just look at
happening.
Oh my. Yeah, we are. Yeah. We are not cool at all. Is this a roast? I've always wanted to be roasted.
You're such a good sport, though.
I've always wanted to be roasted. I mean, this is so cool.
Right. Well, I think we can call that a draw in the coolness stakes here because I think you've made up for your golf foibles of starting in the uncool way to be the really cool bums on a boat. And we have watched your stuff, and it's definitely worth watching. You two are.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Really, really good. So
that means a lot. I mean, coming from you guys, professionals, for sure. And, I mean, like I said, everyone here is amazing and phenomenal, and that means a lot to us. Because we do take the angle of just go for it.
Yeah.
Learn as you go. So obviously, you're not very good when you start anything. And Alex and Mandy talk about that. Don't compare yourself to somebody in the middle stage or in the success. You might want to be like Michael Jordan, but he wasn't good when he first started, so you might aspire to be him, but don't compare yourself to him.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys told me, but that's essentially what we do.
Yeah.
Just be our best. And
But on the other hand, you guys are excellent at making videos before you started YouTube.
True. This is what we have to compete with.
Yeah.
We're meeting our competition.
I remember
now.
your
We're
first
like,
episode
oh my
when it
God.
came out, and I was like, I'm watching these people. And then when we were like coming to Samir, I'm like, we're meeting these people.
But it's I mean, we cheat because we've been doing it for 35 years. I mean, if I decided to become a dentist and I was going to come at you with a pair of pliers, I would not do a good job. I mean, so we're in awe of you guys that can pick up something completely different. That isn't your profession because it is our profession. To then pick up that and do it to the standard that you all do in such a short space of time, I think you will do just a really, really good job of doing that. So anyway, let's get on to some more specific things. You wanted to start with Andy.
I did.
Yeah.
Andy, if I can ask you, we're all here at a YouTube convention. We all think it's a brilliant idea. How did you have the idea?
Well, it was just like an extension from the podcast, just bringing people together. The reason why I wanted to start the podcast was to filter in lots of channels and then hopefully filter out their viewers so it can just grow the community in a way. And after speaking to Mandy and Alex and realising that their favourite place was Greece and they want to go back there, and then Maddie and Herbie, who were like, our favourite place is Greece and we never made it there, I was like, okay, let's try and make something happen. And they're all fantastic people, and they've all really inspired me to probably bring my dream a little bit further forward as well. And I just thought it'd be great, bring everybody together, have a really great time, and hopefully help everyone's channels, and everybody can make some new friends, which it's been really nice. It's been great.
Now, Maddie and Herbie, you say you didn't quite make it. Is that to do with the electric engine?
100%.
Well,
Yes.
it was the electric engine and
COVID.
the med.
Yeah. It was all these things that came together to help us not make it to Greece.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a blessing in disguise because we had this entire side van trip that we did all through Europe, and that ended up being amazing and kind of diverting from the whole sailing thing, just taking a little break and seeing another way of traveling sustainably was really interesting. But when Andy contacted us with the opportunity to go to Greece, we just we didn't even ask questions. We just said yes. Yeah, it's amazing what he's brought together, and I mean, this is the chance of a lifetime, and I really do think we've made some wonderful new friends. I mean, it's been totally amazing.
Okay, forgive me, but I'm going to stick to the electric engine just a little bit longer.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Okay.
I diverted.
Yeah, so, all right, well, about that.
Yeah.
So, since we have the electric, we need wind, and the med is wind or no wind.
Mm-hmm.
So, no wind means we just sit there until the next wind. So, we had to run I believe it's called the poniente winds that blow into the med, and then we get blown through hell during that, and then we catch the tail end of a Mistral to get us almost to Sicily before the next Mistral comes to smash us into Sicily, because we were heading to Sicily.
That was our
It
plan, yeah.
It was 1,000 miles from Gibraltar straight to Sicily. And we're like, this will be fun. And then we're in there, and a day and a half. So the forecast is calling for, well, and we always do like 1,000-mile runs, so it's like
Outside the med.
outside the med,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
ocean.
Outside the
So they were
med,
calling for 20 to 25 knots wind. We're like, okay, that's doable. And then it was 45. And it was just absolutely horrible. So
I
then
mean, we got our butts kicked.
Yeah.
The waves were coming into the cockpit,
They were-
and it was the only time we've actually been really scared.
Yeah, so the big issue, the waves are coming over and smashing into our trysail, and they actually tore our trysail. And we were like, well, now we can't heave to, so either we pull into a marina and find safe harbor, or use our storm anchor, the parachute anchor, for the first time ever, wait out this horrible thing, fix the boat in the next calm to be ready for the next blast of wind. So it was horrible. So we pulled in, and then we found out that the med, you go in the calms when there's no wind. You motor to the next harbor.
That's when we talked to
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people in the marina where we pulled into, which was Almerimar. It was the
cheapest
marina
on
in
the
Spain.
bottom of Spain.
Yeah, we just happened to be like right in line with it. And so we pulled in there not knowing what to expect, and we met all these wonderful sailors there, and we were like, how do you do this? How do you sail the med? And they were like, we don't sail the med.
Yeah, you motor from place to place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of our hopes and dreams were kind of dashed. We were like, we came all the way over here. We really wanted to get to Greece, but we were like, at that moment, we were like, well, maybe we do a van.
But obviously, the philosophy of having an electric engine is important to you.
Yes.
So first, why that? And apart from this disaster you just explained, going across the Atlantic, you're telling me, isn't as crazy as we thought.
No.
That was easier.
Yeah, Atlantic's easy.
The Atlantic, we think of, the Atlantic is more of a mental challenge than a physical, sailing challenge. It's easier to cross the Atlantic than it is to do coastal sailing because there's nothing to hit.
Yeah, you're just
You
out
know?
there for days and just hold a general course. Like if you're going from the U.S. to Europe, you want to go east.
So there's a lot of weather planning, and there's a lot of planning that goes into it before you leave. But then once you leave, as long as you've picked the correct weather window, you're fine. You're going to be carried there.
Yeah, and if you pick the wrong weather window, you just deal with it and you'll get there anyway.
And we did have 4 or 5 days of being becalmed on both Atlantic crossings. And in those days, we sat, we cooked, we read. It was fine. We saw some wildlife. It was really beautiful, actually. So you just have to go in with the mindset. And once you have an electric motor, you need the electric motor mindset, or else it's not going to work.
Yeah, but for ocean sailing, you're in the same boat as everyone else because no one can motor across an ocean.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
exactly.
Except Americans will strap tons of jerry cans to the boat, overload the thing like crazy, and be like, this is fine.
No, like a straight line.
Motor forever.
Yeah, so our philosophy is it's kind of a purist philosophy, We
Yes.
we have that kind of mindset where we just wanted to kind of go back to the roots of sailing.
Yeah.
And just be 100% sailing, and it gives you this amazing connection with the elements, with the water and the wind that you don't necessarily have if you have an electric motor, although we do know plenty of people who never use their electric motor, Sorry.
Are you talking about diesel?
Diesel. But it kind of forces us into that mindset, and that whole relinquishing of control, I think, is such an important aspect of sailing, and it gives you such a respect for the elements that we might not have if we had a diesel. And so we really appreciate that feeling and that freedom almost of just letting go of control.
Yeah. But without too much detail, though, I just want to, with Herbie, just on the technical side. I know you're very good on the technical side of this.
Yeah.
And for me, I know that people like Jimmy Cornell, who's tried with a catamaran, so lightweight, 2 engines, loads of solar, all the best of everything, failed in his attempt to go around. But you're trying, with a heavy displacement boat, with a small engine, without all that still to do it. That doesn't add up to me.
The problem was he was running his electric boat like if it was a diesel boat.
Yeah.
And that's not going to work. You have to think of it as an electric boat. Like, it's totally different. You can't use electricity for anything else because it is your fuel.
Yeah.
So that's literally like if you have a diesel boat and you're like, hey, I'm going to turn on my light by just splashing 5 gallons of diesel everywhere. It's like, it doesn't, you can't do that and then actually motor anywhere.
So I believe he had like an induction.
Yeah, he had induction
induction
cooktop.
cooktop.
Yeah.
Yes, the whole thing.
Yeah. And electric auto, like so many things that draw electricity. We have LED nav lights and LED interior lights, and that's it.
So it's having everything. It's saving energy, obviously, as much as you can to have as much left for the actual motor as you possibly can. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, we'll leave that for a minute. We might come back to Dyneema rigging and stuff in a minute. Since Mandy's not here, let's go over to Josh then and have a little bit more from you about why you picked the boat you did, and I'd like to sort of have a discussion here about why everyone has got the boat. I mean, sometimes it's just down to what boat you can afford, what you can do, but you can get. I mean, one of the things with heavy displacement old type style boats is you quite often pick them up cheap. It might be a lot of work, but you can pick them up. What have you found so far? Advantages, disadvantages?
Well, when I first started sailing, I was on a 25-foot Capri sailboat, and that was just the best thing ever to learn on, and there wasn't as much maintenance. And the best thing about it, there weren't like all these through holes and other systems in place with electrical, and it was so great because it was a little bit of that purist thought process. And I kind of wish I would go back there. It's kind of like you kind of wish sometimes for your most simple thing.
Yeah.
And then I had a Beneteau 38 that was more complex. And that was on the East Coast when I was living in Annapolis, and then moved out to California and ended up there. It's like not the same kind of cruising situation there. I mean, a lot of it, I'm in Newport Beach, California, where you have this harbor, and a lot of people are kind of just cruising around the harbor, and you kind of almost go out for Sunday cocktails and whatever. And so for me, I saw this really cool classic boat that I thought it was a nice project to work on, almost like a car show, like you would go to the Sunday car show. That was my thought process, not necessarily for the displacement where I'm going to go cruising long distances, but more for the DIY projects I could do, and also something to have there in Newport that was a little unique. And fun and it is true because everybody in the harbor, everybody goes by there. Oh, it's so unique. What is that boat? And everybody's asking me questions about it. And so so it's that, but it's so much work with the wood.
When we bought our boat, it had leather vinyl, and it was peeling up in some of the areas. So we decided to just rip all the vinyl off, and underneath it was foam, and the foam was glued to the boat. So we scraped all the foam off and got all the foam and all the vinyl off, and it was bare fiberglass. And then we're like, okay, well that's great. Now we can see if there's anything wrong with the, inside. We can just get to it, fiberglass it, perfectly functional. So we just left it. Just left it brown fiberglass for the longest time.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
Yeah. So what was it like? Because you moved on the boat after Joel already had it.
Right.
What did you think of it? Your first time you were invited on board to south of the Bahamas, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like a bachelor pad. He had painted, so it was white where it was brown. I was on the boat previously where it was like just a poop brown interior. But I definitely went through that process of kind of shedding the materialism as well.
Not shaving her legs.
Right.
Not taking showers.
Right. Kind of wearing the same clothes day after day, just really becoming a bum.
The classic hippie. The classic
and wanting to know what that was about. And I think it's been a total 180 on that, where I'm like, no, I actually do like shaving my legs. I feel more comfortable and take a bit more pride in my appearance. And I feel like taking care of your home is really important, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And it's super important to me to restore this boat. I mean, she's basically a classic. She's in 1974, and make her new again.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's value.
And you want to bring her back here, is that right?
We do, yeah. She was built in Greece. Yeah, Dick Carter design, and it was our bucket list Hail Mary to get her to Greece. And our second, we've already done a few of our goals. And now we're pretty much, the next one is get her to Greece.
Well, there's a lot of steps involved.
There's a lot of steps.
Before that.
But it's our Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And in terms of time, how long do you see yourself living on a boat?
We don't see an end.
Yeah, indefinitely. I would like to have a situation where, we have some sort of home on land, probably a van or an RV, so we have our own space when we go back to visit our families, because that's really important to us, having time with our families, and the hardest part is just sort of going from couch to couch and being in someone else's space and not feeling like you have a home because yours is, you know, on an island somewhere and you've left it. So I'd like to have the land home and the boat home and kind of share a time between the two.
Okay, that sounds great. Which brings me to Andy and Hibbo. You are building up to this, building up to living on a boat.
That is the grand plan. It's, you know, for someone like me who's like really afraid of the water and someone who didn't like to be on a boat before, this is a huge adjustment, and I actually really love it, especially after being here, because, you know, we have a 33-foot boat. It's amazing. It's a Moody 336. But to live on with a family and a child, and hopefully in the future to grow the family, you do need a bigger boat.
And 6 cats.
And 6 cats. Yes, we do have 6 cats as well.
You're not going to take those on board, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
6 cats?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
family. We've taken them with us to 3 different countries now.
Yeah, they've been all over.
We've
the world with
rescued
us, yeah.
them from Dubai, and they went to the UK with us, and then they went to Spain, and wherever we go on a boat, they will go with us. Some of them are really old. The oldest is like 14 years old now, and I mean, I do hope he lives forever, but it's just the way it is. But yeah, the grand plan is to live on a boat and to cruise and, you know, to see the world. And for someone who comes from Syria, and, you know, travel restrictions are really difficult since forever for us, and now it's not easy at all. The idea of being able to travel and to take your home with you is amazing, because you don't have to worry about where to stay, where to sleep. You're in the comfort of your own home, and you're seeing a different place every month, and it's just amazing.
You say you didn't like water, even. You've gone to great lengths then, haven't you, to realise this dream?
Yes. Well,
Well, I've gone to great lengths to make her realise.
so I'm a really easygoing person, and I think living in war and having to change countries and, you know, going through the situation that I had to go through, build up from nothing again, you know, going to Dubai from Syria and having to like start from scratch, where I had a full career, had my own stuff in Syria, and then poof, everything is gone, and I start again. It really mellows you out as a person, and you basically, whatever situation you're thrown at, you have to just adapt. Yeah.
Well, one of the things we get questions most about, I don't know about the rest of you here on our channel, is how do I persuade my partner, my wife, whatever, to come on a boat with me? Well, you've made it yourself as hard as you possibly can. A Syrian girl who's afraid of water and, you know, just doesn't like boats, but you're still
you guys love each other,
managing to do it.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I mean that's brilliant. I mean, you obviously didn't read that memo either, because you had a boat that was just a complete
Well,
trash,
I was gonna
completely
say that
trash, and you still managed.
we're pretty much Andy's story. You know, how he said we were gonna go buy a boat for $10,000 and then just see what happened. That's pretty much what happened. Like what would have happened, more or less. Because my brother Jared, our friend, and myself, we all had we saved up, scrounged $10,000 up. But we each had $10,000, so we went in with $30,000, and that was it. And we went and found a boat and bought it, and you know that's how we're here.
That's why I like your
Little
story so much.
experience, and you know, no sailing experience. We did, you know, a few lessons and all of that.
Yeah. And you guys, Alex and Mandy, I mean, this was something you both went into together, didn't you? Learned to sail, decided this was it route for you.
Yeah.
Is it panned out how you thought for the first, what have you been doing it 3 years now?
Oh,
4 years?
March 2019 we started.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. But obviously now,
Different.
baby as well. What do you think? What's going to be the implications of that? Do you think for you?
Having a baby.
Well, you gave a nice answer.
Yes, Alex told me earlier. Well, nothing. Nothing for you, maybe. What about for you, Mandy?
I actually thought it was not gonna be a big difference, but he takes up a lot of time. Maybe because he's so small, of course, and he needs me a lot. So for me, it's a big difference. Like my head is somewhere else at the moment. So I noticed that a lot on this trip, because this is like our first trial trip on a sailboat to see how it goes. And yeah, it is very different. Like this boat is of course pretty big, so it's very comfortable, but I'm busy with the baby a lot, and I hope it's going to be a bit less soon, because I really enjoy the sailing part and being outside and,
outside with the kid when they're really small might be a bit difficult, but yeah. So let's see how it goes, and we cross if I'm like inside all the time. Or if I can
And
spend some time
how much
outside.
sailing had you done before? Like, this is your dream and you did it together, but had you done any, a lot? Why sailing?
Oh, we haven't sailed, really. We
No.
don't have a sailing background. We got our licenses in Berlin on little lakes with dinghies.
Yeah, the boats were like
And-
4.20 meters.
Yeah. And we did what was necessary by law, and then we bought a
German
boat.
law.
Yeah.
By German law, yeah, to get a boat. So
Yeah.
that's basically it.
That's it, yeah. We haven't sailed this one before, except for maybe like something like this, except for maybe like 3 days. We went on a charter around the German island.
Yeah, that was pretty cool,
But
but
that
somebody
was, like-
else sailed.
Yeah, somebody else sailed.
We
So
just
we
sat
don't.
there.
We never docked a boat, other than the first one we bought right when we went into the water. That was the first time we docked a boat.
Yeah, we actually asked the guy that did our engine while it was on the hard, and we said like, we're gonna go in the water tomorrow, but we have no idea how we're gonna out of the slip and into our own slip. So would you mind like coming on the boat with us? Because we have no idea.
Yeah.
And he did, and it went really well. So
Yeah, just have to think it through and then
we,
execute.
We took like time.
Execute, like the
Yeah.
German.
That was the other thing that I've noticed when we've been on a boat is how helpful everybody is, and everyone's got a story of people that have helped them like that. I know you've got stories about people that have just come alongside and supported you and said, yes, what can we do to help, inviting you to their homes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, people kind of adopt you,
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what age you are. Like, I know you've had the same experiences. Like, but people, you just get to a new port, and actually the YouTube actually really helps with that, because people already know who you are sometimes, and they'll say, oh, you're coming to my city or my country, please, like, come to me for anything you need. And we get a lot of offers for like rides and places to sleep and showers, things like that. But it's true of the sailing community. It's just a community of very kind-hearted people that you automatically have something very big in common.
That's how we met Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually
I'd
wrote
quite
us,
like to
yeah.
go around the group as well about the YouTube part of this, because with the other thing
Yeah.
we've obviously all got in common, apart from sailing,
Yeah.
is that we run YouTube channels. So how are people finding that? If you sort of go around, explain to a viewer what's involved in that, and how it is for you. What do you get out of it? I mean, is it difficult to do?
I think the biggest challenge is that everything takes way longer. So the process of working on the boat, of getting things done, like the timeline, it just stretches out. And that's one thing that I think sailors who aren't filming what they're doing maybe don't really understand. What would you say?
Yeah, it definitely, like a boat project will go long. I think you guys can all agree with that. A boat project will go 3 times longer than if you didn't have to worry about the cameras. But for me, it's just great because I feel like we're being creative with our lives. So you can be creative, and it's like, for us, it's what you do, it's how you live. That's like the creative part, and you capture that, and then you get to share it on YouTube. So it's like kind of art in a way, you're creating videos.
And is it a thing that both partners have to be involved in this and do it? Does it work do you think if one wants to do it and one doesn't?
That would not work.
No, and I've noticed with all of us, we have different dynamics,
Yeah.
But we work as a team. And if one just said that's your thing, and I just, I don't want to be a part, I'll be on the boat, I really don't think that would work.
Ours started that way.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
did
I
all
didn't
the-
want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
So all those
But
videos
you're the
are-
extrovert and you're the introvert.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
the-
Yeah, it seems like you do quite a
Yeah.
bit.
Oh yeah, she does all the editing because she started seeing them and like people were commenting and they liked it.
And I was
then-
like, oh, I can do that a lot better.
Yeah, because mine were like incredibly boring, and she's like, "I'll do that," and hers were amazing, and that's when the channel started growing.
Yeah.
No, ours started as like a journal almost for ourselves. Like we didn't think people would actually care about what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then we started realizing that there's like a teaching moment there. I'm a teacher and he's got all this knowledge to share, and so for us it became almost more of like, we've got kind of 2 sides of our channel. We've got the vlog, which is sharing our lives, which is more of the kind of journalistic part, for us, like a diary almost. And then we've got the educational part, which Herbie does, and it's just like, it's this very cool gift to be able to share your knowledge with people all over the world
Yeah.
and gain knowledge
Yeah.
as a as a result, because people are always willing to put in their 2 cents, which can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, but do you think it's strange? Because I don't know from you, I'd like to know actually from you, what we found is that, because we do technical videos as well as the episodes.
Yeah.
Well, the episodes will get 10 times the views of the technical videos normally, which, I don't know, sometimes is strange. I mean, yours, do you find the same thing? Do you get more for episodes than technical?
Our most viewed video is about an ice place in Danima.
Yeah.
Which is an incredibly boring topic, but if you want to know how to splice Danima, like that's the one. So that one keeps getting views, like all the time. It gets like 500 a day. But then,
oh my gosh!
Brace yourselves.
It's great anchorage we've got here.
yeah.
Avocado.
Boat life at its finest.
Yeah.
So we do find that we have like what we call evergreen videos, and that's usually the education
educational
ones. So that's what people come back to, and they get views.
We have the same. We've got 2 videos on anchoring, which always get views all the time. They're sort of number 2 and 3, the top episodes then there.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally the episodes go through. Do you guys do technical videos as well? You do, don't you? You do sort of refit videos.
Well, yeah, we bought a.
Just the opposite of what you guys said. They don't do so well.
No, they don't do really well because I feel like I'm not a technical expert. I can't but I do my research and then I do something and it's kind of works out for us.
Yeah.
I'm not foolish. And then I do a proper job and it works. But I wouldn't be in a position where I would properly educate someone how to do things.
Yeah.
I mean, I still do them, and because we were locked down on islands for the past year, it's kind of what happened in the videos. They got more and more technical. Plus, we prepare the boat for the crossing. So
You're
we do
doing that
show
now,
that.
aren't you?
Of
Yeah.
course, we show what we do and a bit of how we do it, but more in a broader sense, as in if you actually want to get your boat ready to do the milk run, which is not the most difficult Atlantic, crossing over there is quite okay, but you still need to have a boat that's seaworthy, and if you want to do it in an amount of comfort that you're not have aching backs or you're thirsty and you're almost dying, then you have to do certain things, and these I do show. Yeah, but these videos don't get as much views as the nice ones, and where you're actually experiencing the sailing life that you aim to build.
So what do you like best about the videos? Why do you do it?
I just like making videos, and we're not. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I don't consider our channel to be a sailing channel in the first place, because we just knew that we wanted to do something big, starting in our 30s, because we thought we do some job, but that shouldn't be it. There should be something in between this and retirement. So we just figured out we'll save everything we can, and in a few years we'll know what it is. And then we started watching YouTube sailing channels and said, well, you know what, we're just gonna try this. Just gonna buy a boat with the budget we have and do this for maybe a year, and if it doesn't work out, we go back. So there's no risk. That's actually how we plan our life. We just we try something, and we always have a backup plan to come back to divert if it doesn't work out, and then
That's smart.
there's not really a
We
big
had no
risk
backup plan.
Yeah, same here.
Boat life's so different. You can buy $1,000 boat, you can buy $1 million catamaran, but there's so much in between. And what we portray is a life in comfort in a safe boat that can take us far, but will not break the bank. I think that's what it is. If you can afford our boat, you can afford if you can afford a good car, you can afford our boat.
Yeah.
So if you don't buy that car and you choose to live that life, you could make that happen quite quickly. It's not unattainable, and I think that's where we show.
And if you want to be extra insane and travel without all of the expensive gadgets,
Yeah.
you can do it without without breaking the bank pretty easily.
Yeah, you can scale down from our level of comfort. You can scale down even further, and you would not have aching backs either. It's pretty attainable.
Yeah, I wanted to get on the technical videos because it was interesting. Our most viewed videos, we spent 1 year in the boatyard. Now they're not technical videos because we were learning all of these fiberglass jobs, ripping up cockpits, redoing steering.
Yeah, they're boat work videos, but they're more like a train wreck, where everyone's just waiting to see us give up. The problem seems so impossible.
Yeah, and we prove you can figure it out, you know. And we got how many people told us to just put the boat out in the ocean and burn it. And it's like, you're done. You're going to die. This boat will not work. Because we had some issues.
Yeah.
So let's talk about just about the comments then, because people do have these comments. How does that affect? I mean, you say it puts a fire in you, so that obviously that's coming through.
Well, yeah, but it didn't always.
It's a process. It's a process.
We used to take it to heart.
Yeah. But a lot of it is. You know, does a lot of it sort of keep you going as well? I mean, we get some comments that you think, oh, it's just.
I mean, it's like 90% of the comments or more are positive, encouraging, amazing people. Very, you'll get one comment that's negative, and that one will stick out in your head, and you'll have 100 that are really positive, encouraging. We love you.
And I just like to say that the comment that sticks in your head, it's an insecurity that you have already. And someone says it, and you're like, oh God, they see it too. Like a mean comment that has no basis in reality.
So they're talking about your hairy legs, were
it's
they?
like, right. Like, they're like, oh my God, that's disgusting. I'm like, oh, I know. So a mean comment that like you don't really believe, like you don't care about. A mean comment that might echo your own insecurities is something that it's like, oh shit, but it's kind of like a growth process, right? Like, how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to talk to yourself?
Yeah.
And you are inviting people to watch you, which is, let's face it, a strange thing to do.
You're very vulnerable.
You're putting yourself out.
I mean, you're
there,
literally
baby.
bringing them into your life, like you're
into your most intimate.
And one thing that makes a YouTube channel so successful, which I think we've all found, is actually sharing your feelings during the ups and the downs. So
the human emotion.
Yeah. So you have to make sure that you're available, like emotionally available to the camera.
You have to show the reality of life. You can't just show the good parts, because life is not just about the good parts. It's about everything that happens. And
but Josh, you had an episode that went, that got a lot of views with you sort of showing those emotions.
Along the same lines. Showing sort of the failure sometimes can be just as valuable, I think, for the viewer. So I had an episode where I was going across the Gulf Stream, and essentially failed. I didn't plan it correctly with the current and the weather and everything. So I turned back to Florida, and I shared that whole experience, and I got emotional during the video and this and that. And a lot of people, 90% of the people were super supportive. And going back to the comments question, you do get a few of these comments that are really negative and are attempting to really hurt you, but at first, like you said, you look at it like you get down about it, but then you realize these people are probably sitting in their basement in their mom's house,
with nothing better to do.
That's how I like to picture them.
Yeah. So you kind of not.
So did it surprise you, the comments you got, that it was mainly supportive for that? What did you think when you put that out? Were you sort of a bit trepidatious about, oh my God, I don't know?
It's funny because I didn't even think too much about it. I was like, oh, it's just another experience. I'll put it out there. And then a lot of people were like, oh, I'm so surprised you shared this. It was so intimate and vulnerable. Yeah. I didn't think about that when I did it. Looking back, I'm like, oh, I guess I was. I just kind of put it out as sort of a memory for me, as a journal sort of thing. Yeah.
And finally, then, just for the we all get it, I'm sure. The armchair sailors who sit there and scrutinise everything you do on one thing, and they will pick something that they will find. How do you deal with those?
They make a t-shirt.
Yeah, we made
a t-shirt, a very special t-shirt just for them.
It's a nice leather sofa chair with a steering wheel and ship's wheel. It says armchair sailor.
And it has like a little mast with a sail coming out of the back rest of the chair, and we say we made a t-shirt just for you.
Yeah,
and we
just
give
send
it to
them the link.
They've never bought it.
Yeah.
They've never bought the shirt.
I mean, they should wear it with pride, because they definitely are armchair sailors.
Now it's our way of just kind of like making it funny, because you have to laugh at it after a while, like these people. And for in the beginning, we really did take it to heart, and we were like, wow, maybe we have been doing this wrong the whole time, and we tried it their way, and it led to one of the biggest disasters that we've ever had.
Yeah.
So with that, we were like, well, maybe us being actually out there and sailing, maybe we do know a little bit better than that.
Also, just following what they say in the parties books rather than the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
But that being said, I mean, there are so many people who are able to word their comments in a very constructive manner, and we love receiving that. We love learning all the time, you know. And that is very helpful, and it's also one of the greatest things about YouTube is you're connecting with these people who you can learn from them.
You can get information. We quite often ask for information.
Sure.
I'll sort of say, you know, I'm doing this, but I'm not sure about this bit.
Exactly.
Anyone out there? You know?
You could totally tell a constructive critic versus just a mean critic, like just someone who's tearing you down.
To be a know-all and saying, I could do that
Just
better.
put you down.
And we always had a wild card up our sleeve, and it was the cruising community.
Yeah.
So we would get all these like we were in the boatyard for a year, and we had all these jobs, and of course everyone would say, you need to do this, you should do this, and it would flood with all their ideas of what we should do. And we always had the cruising community as our wild card, and so we would meet amazing people where we were at, and we would take their word, and you know, it was like we would just go with them. We knew them, we saw their boat, we saw that they were experienced, and you know, regardless of all the comments that said we should do it this way, we always went with how a cruiser would do it. And we have met amazing cruisers everywhere we've been that have always just been like, this is the way, this is, you know, they want to help you out, they want you to pass it forward. So, you know, we've just been able to read the comments, and, you know, the constructive ones who are truly trying to be constructive, I do my best to, you know, to respond honestly and say this is what we're going to do. And the ones who are just being mean, I personally just slide on, you know. I just say, you know, I'll leave it there. I'm not going to delete you. I'm not going to be mean. I'm just going to...
We just normally say thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's what we... Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you for doing this with us. It's been really good and really fun to meet you. And thanks for inviting us, Andy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
Lovely. We will leave it there.